A man drove through an intersection in Lansing, Michigan. He did not speed. He did not run a light. He did not hit anyone. On March 13, 2025, Michigan State Police charged him with a felony for it. The troopers were executing a search warrant nearby. They spotted a car they believed belonged to a suspect. They flashed their lights for a few seconds, never turned on their sirens, never said pull over, and the car drove away. That was the felony. Fleeing and eluding a police officer requires one thing. The driver has to know he's being stopped. These troopers gave him nothing. So when the case went to court, the sergeant needed a way to prove the driver knew. He told the judge there was a black truck at the intersection that saw the lights and pulled over. If that truck knew it was a stop, the driver should have known too. That was the whole case. Then the defense attorney played the dash cam. He paused it at 54 seconds. The truck was gone. It never stopped. The sergeant lied under oath. Markeel Winfrey was charged with fleeing and eluding in the third degree, a felony carrying up to 2 years in prison in the 54A District Court in Lansing, Michigan. His attorney, Brian Brown, filed for a preliminary examination to challenge probable cause. What you are about to watch is a sergeant swear to something that his own camera proves never happened and a judge who catches it in real time. For over 30 years, I sat on the bench. I have heard officers stretch the truth. I have heard officers shade the facts, but I have never seen an officer testify to something his own dash cam disproves in 24 seconds.
Calling Sergeant Scott Williams.
You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give is the truth and the whole truth under penalty of perjury. You can have a seat.
What was your reason for dispatching to that address?
While we were doing a search warrant, they advised us surveillance that subject might have been getting into a vehicle leading to, so we started moving that way.
Were you then pursuing that suspect?
Yes, they told us where the suspect was headed and they wanted to check. We were told the vehicle was coming on Walsh, so we pulled up to the intersection of Walsh and Hill Street where we observed the vehicle. There was a black pickup at the stop sign, and behind the black pickup was our suspect vehicle, which was the blue Chevy Malibu. And then spun behind the vehicle to initiate a traffic stop.
Did you ever lay eyes on Mr. Winfrey?
I did.
And tell me about that. Where did you see him?
In the traffic stop.
Okay.
Now, Trooper, if you were if you were able to see the video, you would recognize the video from this particular. Okay. Now, Sergeant, does this appear to be an accurate depiction of the incident on which you are testifying today?
Yes, sir.
Did the video come with that? I will say, did it come with that writing on it?
That's why I was.
Yes, it came with the writing on there, which is great. Actually, the writing is
Yes, like the corner and stuff.
and I'm gonna pause at 44 seconds. And Sergeant, you would agree that you had to complete another U-turn?
Yeah, because we were facing, I guess, eastbound. He was facing westbound. So when he fled, we had to
Okay,
U-turn.
without using the term fled, you would agree that at this point in time, you never came over your PA and said, hey, individual in whatever car, stop. You would agree to that, right?
Yeah, we never did.
Okay. You would agree that your sirens never came on where you hit your sirens to indicate to anybody in the vicinity that you may want them to pull over, correct?
So I'm not driving, so I didn't hit the sirens. I wouldn't be one of the ones that hit it anyways. At this point, no.
Okay, but you agree that watching this video, the sirens variable remained at 0, correct?
It did.
Okay, and you didn't yell out the window and say, hey, stop, did you? Okay. Continue at 48 seconds. And just, I'm gonna pause at 58 seconds. You would agree that at this point in time, your lights are at 0, correct? Your lights are off, correct?
Correct.
Okay. No sirens are on, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
So this is at, I'm sorry, 0:58 seconds, you said?
Yes, Judge.
No lights on?
Yes. No lights or sirens. I'm gonna pause it at 1:16. And you would agree at 1:16, no lights are on, no sirens are on, correct?
Yeah, at this point, I'd have the trooper terminate pursuit because we did not pursue.
Oh, okay. So at this point in time, the pursuit was terminated, correct?
Correct.
Listen to that sentence one more time. We did not pursue. Those are the sergeant's own words under oath. The state is charging Markel Winfrey with fleeing from the police. And the sergeant in charge of the operation just told this court that the police never chased him. No sirens. The variable stayed at 0 the entire time. No verbal command. Nobody said a word. The lights were on for a few seconds during a U-turn and then went dark. And the sergeant calls it a pursuit that never happened. But he still needs this charge to stick. So he has one card left, the black truck, and he is about to play it.
But at this point in time, you would agree that this was terminated, correct?
Correct. From this point, yes.
Okay. And previously to this point, you would agree that when you first got on the street, you had to do a U-turn, correct?
Yep.
When you made that U-turn, you agree that no lights were on, correct? Correct?
The first U-turn?
Yes, the first U-turn.
Yes, correct.
And you would agree that no sirens were on, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then when you made the second U-turn, after you completed that U-turn, you would agree that no sirens were on or lights, correct?
When you terminated, yes.
Okay. And you would agree that you never hit the sirens. The variable remained 0, correct?
It did, yes.
You agree that you didn't yell out the window, correct?
Correct.
Okay. You'd agree that you made no indication verbally to whoever was in the vicinity that you wanted them to stop. You'd agree with that, right? Obviously.
Other than the lights, no verbal, no.
Okay. But you'd agree that when you completed the U-turn, there were no lights on, correct? Just to be clear.
I guess you're talking about two different U-turns.
Okay, we'll go back.
You're talking like right when I initiated the stop?
The second U-turn. I'm going back to 37 seconds. So this is the second U-turn, correct? You'd agree, right?
Correct. This is when the stop was being entered.
Okay. This is when the stop. Okay. And you would agree at this point in time, nobody's in front of you, right? There's no car in front of you, right?
The suspect vehicle's right to the left, like tire right there.
Okay. And then no sirens are being activated, correct?
Based on the 0 number.
Okay. Back. You just saw the video, correct? You would agree that when that U-turn was completed, the lights variable went to 0, correct? We'll go back just to be clear. I don't want you to say anything that's not true.
I just need to explain, I guess. What
No, I'm just asking you. I don't be rude or anything, but I'm just asking you a simple question: whether or not after your U-turn was completed, isn't it true that the lights were turned off?
So as the U-turn was completed there, when he pulled up to the stop sign, lights were on, yes.
Okay. Thank you, Sergeant. No further questions.
Sergeant, you were just asked about the lights in relation to the U-turn that was being made. When the lights were on, you had mentioned that you were right, the car was right to the left and the tire was right there. How close do you recall the suspect car being to the patrol vehicle at the time the lights were initiated?
Oh, 5 to 10 feet, very close, pretty much right next to each other.
Okay. And when those lights were activated, what did the suspect car do at that moment?
Pulled off the side of the roadway to the north, went up on the sidewalk and around the telephone pole and fled into the restaurant.
So in that image where we had the stop sign, were they actually going up that curb to the right? Okay. So your lights were activated and that vehicle then jumped the curb.
Correct.
So stop. So that's the black pickup truck. This is the vehicle that allegedly the defendant or subject was in. Okay. Okay.
Now, Sergeant, you testified that when you saw this particular vehicle, you had your lights on, correct? And you stated that this vehicle was a truck that was at the stop sign, correct? Correct?
There was a truck at the, yes.
Yeah, and you said after you put your lights on, this particular truck remained standstill, correct?
It is.
Okay. So let's watch this video because I'm kind of curious. If, just to be clear, so I'm going to go back to 30 seconds. Is this the truck you're talking about?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we see this truck at 28 seconds. You then complete your turn, correct? I'm just pausing in at 54 seconds. You complete your turn, correct?
Correct.
Where's the truck at? Do you see the truck depicted on this video at 54 seconds? Yes or no?
At this point, no.
At this point, now that is the moment this case ended. The sergeant testified under oath that a black pickup truck saw the police lights and yielded. That was his proof that the lights were clear enough to be a traffic stop. If the truck knew, Winfrey should have known. But the defense attorney just froze the dash cam at 54 seconds. The trooper has not even finished his U-turn. And the intersection is empty. No truck, no vehicle, nothing. It was gone before the trooper got turned around. The sergeant built his entire case on a truck that stayed. His own camera shows a truck that left. And the judge is staring at the same screen.
Okay. But you stated that the truck remained, correct?
Would you let me explain?
You stated that the truck remained, correct? And after you completed your turn, the truck didn't yield to your lights, did they? They drove off, correct?
At this point, yes.
Okay. Thank you, Sergeant. No further questions.
You said at this point, yes. Did you want to elaborate on that?
Yes. So when I made the statement that the truck stayed is what the reason on why the vehicle had to go up and around the dip, around the curve and around. Because he didn't pull it off immediately. He stayed there because he saw the lights, so that's why the subject vehicle had to go around him. And as we were doing our U-turn, then he pulled off and we were able to pull that. That's what I was referring to.
Oh, so that's not something I would see on a on the dash cam now.
No, because it would have been behind us.
Okay, so the truck stayed, the blue vehicle went around the truck.
It went around that telephone pole there and then back onto the roadway.
Around this telephone pole?
Correct. Off the right side of it.
So you're saying they got on the curb?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So actually circumvented that truck
Yes.
to get away from the location you were.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor. No further.
Just back up a little bit so I can see where the truck was stopped. Okay, so right here where the truck is stopped, you're saying the Malibu goes up on the sidewalk between where this curb is for this house and this pole, correct?
Yes, it goes to the right there. By the pole, you see the elevated sidewalk there?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right there.
And then drives on the sidewalk?
Correct. And goes down that lip there. You see the right side of the truck?
Yeah,
Goes down that lip and then back onto Wall Street around that truck.
there's like a raised area on these people's curb.
Correct.
Did he drive on that?
Yes, he drove over top of that.
Oh, okay.
No further questions. First and foremost, this officer, what valid reason did he have to stop Mr. Winfrey? He stated that they were allegedly there to do a search warrant. He didn't indicate that Mr. Winfrey had any type of traffic violation. He saw this truck, and when he put his lights on, this truck remained at a standstill. This truck was gone. This truck did not yield. These lights were no indication to anybody that a traffic stop was being performed. We saw him do a particular U-turn. It took him 20 seconds to complete this U-turn. From a reasonable standpoint, it would seem that he was pulling up to this particular yard and people were approaching. You saw people coming from outside, they were approaching. It seemed like His business was at this particular residence. He had his lights on for all of what, 25 seconds? And 20 of those seconds, he was completing a U-turn. And after he completed that particular U-turn, he turned his lights
So
off.
can you pull that video up on your computer again?
Yes.
So I could see, pull it up to the 54-second mark. We don't have anything here. I don't think we have anything here that was put on this record that supports a lawful stop. I recognize that there was probably a search warrant, and we're not disputing that. But he said that they were executing a search warrant. How does that translate to I can just stop you randomly on the road for a traffic stop? Am I supposed to, what, I'm going to stop you and take you back to Lathrop? I'm confused about that. I have more questions. The concern about, I think it's unreasonable. Officers don't usually yell out of the vehicle, hey, stop. But a state trooper vehicle has the ability to intercom. And that's reasonable. So that's my other question. Can you bring this to 50? I don't want to touch your computer. 54 second, where the 54-second mark is. I do share a concern. The same. What is it you're approaching with?
No, I thought you asked us both.
Oh, yeah. You're approaching the laptop. Okay. He shared it. That's why I said.
Oh, gotcha.
I do share the concern that the sergeant trooper testified that the black vehicle or a pickup truck had stopped. He hasn't even, trooper hasn't even done a complete U-turn here. He hadn't even finished. There's no black truck there. So that's not true. The black truck didn't yield because it's gone. And that, as you can see at the angle of which this trooper is, he hasn't even turned all the way around yet. So that's my concern. Where's that evidence? And obviously, the prosecution would have reasonably foreseen that the court's going to have questions about, did he jump the curb? Because that's what they're saying. He jumped the curb and that he drove on the sidewalk. That's why I had to slow it down, because I'm trying to figure out how big is the sidewalk that a car could get on there. And then there's a brick wall kind of in the area, which I don't really see from this vantage point. I did see it on the other when he was turning. I also agree that if an officer pulls the way he pulls in and turns on lights on, I don't think he is stopping me either. If the prosecution could show me evidence that he jumped this curb, then that's different. The problem is I have now a sergeant trooper who's telling me that the black truck yielded, but before I could even before he even turned around, the black truck's gone. It'd be different if I could see him turn around and the black truck was still there. Then that makes the story make sense that the blue Malibu went around him and left. But the black truck is gone, which calls into credibility of this story. Why is the black truck gone? And he just told me the black truck was there, and I'm looking at the video. Then I'm looking at the grass and the leaves. I don't see where anyone drove through there. You're saying there's some evidence that supports that, but you didn't admit it. I don't know how I'm supposed to resolve that. This is did you have an argument?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. This is the date set for a preliminary examination. The burden is squarely upon the prosecution to establish probable cause. That's more than mere suspicion that the alleged crimes occurred, alleged felony occurred, and that you, Mr. Markel Winfrey, are the individual who committed the alleged felony. This is a felony charge of fleeing, eluding in the third degree. We had the testimony today of one trooper, Sergeant Scott Williams from Michigan State Police. He stated that on or about March 13th, 2025, that at or near the area of 1029 Lathrop or near Walsh Street, that he was working with the Secured Cities partnership, and that they were executing or to be executing a search warrant at that address, and that that he was advised or notified through surveillance, not through dispatch, that the suspect or subject would be leaving and that he was coming down Wall Street, that he had been provided a picture of the suspect during the briefing. It was the Secretary of State ID or photo, and that the name of the suspect being Markel Winfrey, which the witness identified here in court. The Sergeant Trooper testified that as they were approaching the area at the intersection, that there was a black pickup truck and a blue Chevy Malibu behind it, which the court saw in Defense Exhibit A, and that based on that Sergeant Trooper's training and experience, this area is an area where the speed limit should be 25 to 35 miles per hour. Also, he indicated that this trooper was not operating the MSP vehicle, but it was a fully marked state police vehicle, that they were in fully marked uniform, that Trooper Harshman was driving. He stated that there was a time during this, what he calls a pursuit, that the vehicle that the MSP was in activated their lights. He testified that when the lights were activated, that the suspect, Mr. Winfrey, pulls up on the curb, drives through the telephone pole, around the telephone pole, that is, and proceeds down Walsh, evading the officers. Again, it should be noted that when questioning the officer, the trooper testifies that there's a black truck that recognized or saw the lights and that he yielded. But his testimony is that the defendant, or the vehicle that the defendant supposedly was in, did not yield. The court does have concerns about the veracity of that portion of the testimony, because the court is looking at the exhibit of the dash cam, in which at this point, because it did take, I noted how long it took for the trooper to turn the vehicle around. I believe from the time that the lights were activated, which is at the 30-second mark. This right here depicts the 54-second mark. We're talking 24 seconds it took for him to even get to this point. He hasn't even fully turned around yet. In 24 seconds, which if you're in the pursuit or you're trying to stop me, and you're going in the opposite direction, you're going to probably have to get behind me and turn those lights off within sooner than 30 seconds for me to assume that you're pulling me over. When we saw the trooper pull his vehicle up, he pulls it off at a diagonal. He's completely facing, even before the defense attorney brought it up, I had already wrote that down. He's completely facing the yard of this house. I would assume you're going to speak to these people. I see people coming there. So if I am there, that's what I would assume. However, if in fact the trooper's statement could prove true here, that the black truck reasonably assumed that the officers were trying to turn around and get them, and he yielded, then I should see the black truck here. At the 54-second mark, before the officer could even get the vehicle completely turned around, there is no black truck. Even if we move it forward and see where the officer completely turned around, there's no black truck even in sight. It has been gone. It's for those reasons that I don't believe that the people have met their burden. This case is dismissed for lack of probable cause.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
The judge had already written it down before the defense attorney said a word. Dismissed. Lack of probable cause. Markel Winfrey walked into that courtroom facing a felony. He walked out because a sergeant told a story that his own dashcam contradicted in 24 seconds. These troopers had a search warrant. They had surveillance. They had a description of the car. They had everything they needed to do this the right way. They did none of it. And when that was not enough, the sergeant sat on the stand and swore a truck stayed. His own camera showed it leave. In Michigan, perjury is a felony up to 15 years. Whether this sergeant ever faces that charge is a different question, but the judge's words are on the record. That's not true. If there's a case or courtroom exchange you want me to break down, drop it in the comments below. Thanks for watching. And if this is the kind of breakdown you're here for, like and subscribe so we can keep building a more informed audience.